What's good, YouTube? It's your boy K Flex, and I'm back here with yet another video. Shout out to you guys, man, for clicking on this video. It's the reason I have this headset on right now, because we're gonna watch a video in this video, but we're gonna talk about Xavien Howard's contract situation and the truth behind it, and something that I've been ignoring. But there's too much smoke now for me to ignore this. Okay, usually when there's smoke, there's a fire, guys. And ladies and gentlemen, it's too much rumors. It's too much. It's just too much smoke. And also, there's a video that I'm gonna play today where it seems as though Xavien Howard is unhappy with his contract situation. So I'm gonna give you the cold hard truth, the cold hard facts. Some people gonna like it, some people gonna hate it, but it's the reality of the situation. So let's get into this video. Shout out to the people who like this video before they even heard this sentence. Let's get into it. Now, since about January, I kind of knew that something was up with Xavien Howard. Now, if you guys remember, we re-signed him in 2019, made him the highest paid cornerback in the league, or one of the highest paid cornerbacks in the league, and we thought we had done good. I was very, very excited. Before we re-signed him, I made a video on how we needed to re-sign him ASAP before Jalen Ramsey went to free agency, because once Jalen Ramsey went to free agency, anybody that knew football, and I'm not even a salary cap guy, but anybody that halfway knows football knew that Jalen Ramsey was going to reset the market. So everybody was saying, like, it was people in my comments saying, no, 15 million for Xavien Howard is too much, or however much he made. And I remember looking at those people like, you clearly don't know what you're talking about. At that time, I'm just being honest, because I knew that in a few years, whatever we paid Xavien Howard was going to look like nothing, because Jalen Ramsey was going to ask for way more. And then after that, he's going to set the new standard. So that's exactly what happened. Exactly what I called happened, right? Which I'm not saying I'm like any type of Nostradamus. It didn't take a rocket science to know that, yo, the best quarterback the best cornerback, well, largely regarded as the best cornerback in the league, is going to enter free agency. He's going to demand the bag. That's the fact. That's why the Jags had to trade him. They knew he was demanding the bag. It didn't take rocket science, okay? So everybody knew this, including Xavien Howard and his agent. So let's get into what we're going to talk about today, which is his contract and everything. I do believe he's unhappy with his contract. And also, just to give you guys a quick synopsis of what this video is going to be, I'm not upset if he's angry about his contract, okay? About the money that he's making. Everybody wants to make more money. I want to make more money. If I go out, when I'm at my job, yes, I want to make more money. There's no issue with wanting to make more money. If you're at your company, if you're a man, you want to make more money. I never met somebody who didn't want to make more money. That's not an issue at all. Listen, if Xavien Howard wants to fire his agent and do whatever he wants to do in an attempt to make more money, I'm all for it. Listen, I would do this if I want, especially when I feel like I'm outperforming the people that's making more money than me. Yes, I want to make more money. However, the only issue ever comes is if I'm not handling my obligations in an attempt to make more money. Now, Xavien Howard hasn't done this, and that's why there's no issue as of right now. However, if we get to mandatory OTAs, and I have a feeling it's going to come out sooner than later that Xavien Howard is unhappy. If we get to mandatory OTAs and things of that nature, that's going to really show us what direction it's going. Right now, I think it's good. Listen, I'm going to show you a video right now of why I think he's unhappy with his contract, but right now it's going good. You could be unhappy about your contract and still do I'm unhappy about my pay at work, but I'm still going to work. You feel me? That's fine. It's only an issue when you start doing the other bullshit shenanigans, okay? Now, let's get to the video without further ado before we talk about the rest of the video. Now, I'm going to skip a little bit. You guys, I don't know if you guys seen this. It's the Man to Man podcast. This podcast actually took place in June, okay? January. This podcast took place in January, and Xavien Howard was on it. It was like Pro Bowl weekend. I remember it vividly. And this was when I first started getting a clue that maybe Xavien Howard was wanting more money. And this is before he even fired his agent, I believe. Or it might have been right after. But either way, this is kind of how I knew. Because anybody can fire their agent for any reason. But this statement right here. If you haven't seen this, pay attention. I'm gonna break it down to you guys. And you guys are going to kind of see where I'm coming from and why, I think what I think and why it's too much smoke for there not to be a fire. Now, listen. So, he was on a Man to Man pod. This was in January 13th. And I can't play the whole pod. Obviously, you guys could watch it if you get the opportunity. But obviously, I can't do it for copyright reasons. But in this pod, they asked Xavien Howard. Speaking of pod, I'm finna start one. I need a partner. Email 1kflexing@gmail.com. Anyways, listen. In this podcast, he asked Xavien Howard, you know, the Dolphins just assigned Byron Jones. They drafted a cornerback in the first round, and they basically asked him, how does that make him feel? This is at 31 minutes in. And so they essentially asked him, how does that make you feel? Did that motivate you? They compared it to, you know, the Packers drafting of Jordan Love, or, you know, when people get competition, they play better. And that's basically what they implied. And this was Xavien Howard's reaction to that question. Let's listen up.
Had the big surgery, coming off with that big surgery. You know, the business side of it, you know, they got to bring somebody in that's reliable.
So he said the business side, they got to bring somebody in there that's reliable, which is Byron Jones.
Just in case my knee don't hold up.
Just in case the knee don't hold up.
They got to have, they drafted the first round also.
And then we drafted the first round.
So I feel like it was a slap in the face, you know. I feel like.
And he said he felt like it's a slap in the face right there. Now, I don't understand his logic on this. How is that a slap in the face? We got to get, bro, we got to get, bro, your knee was, let's be honest, Xavien Howard knee was suspect. So we had to get some insurance on you. It's no disrespect to you. We still made you the highest paid corner. So I don't understand how he felt like it was a slap in the face, but let's continue. Let's continue.
That added fuel to the fire, you know. It just
he said
made
that added
me go
fuel to the fire. Made
but on the time, my mindset was like, bro, like I said, I'm gonna get it out the mud, my back against the wall. Every time I bet on myself, I perform and do something well. So, you know, I wasn't really tripping on it.
Yeah.
Like, man,
he's saying against the wall, his back against the wall. He felt like we put his back against the wall. Let's be honest, Noah was drafted to be his replacement eventually, and still probably will be his replacement. That's a fact. Okay? But for some reason, he felt like his back against the wall. We got cornerbacks to kind of replace him, even though we made him the highest paid. So, you know, I don't get his logic all the way, but you can see what kind of approach he was taking. This was in January. Let's continue.
That's added fuel to the fire, you know, and I did what I did. You know, each week in and week out, I'm like, man, I'm going to make them pay.
Yeah. Double.
Double, right.
And that is the part right there, ladies and gentlemen. Double. I'm going to make them pay. Well, first of all, why are you going to make us pay? I'm confused, but I don't understand that. Because we drafted a bro, and I do get where he's coming from a little bit, but I'm going to tell you why it's unfair to the Dolphins in a minute. But this is why I just want to show you guys why I believe that he's asking for more money. Let's rewind this particular part again that you guys could see what I'm talking about. Listen up.
I'm gonna get it out the mud, my back against the wall. Every time I bet on myself, I perform and do something well. So, you know, I wasn't really tripping on it.
Watch his face.
Yeah.
Like, man, that's added fuel to the fire, you know, and I did what I did. You know, each week in and week out, I'm like, man, I'm gonna make them pay.
Yeah. Double.
Double, right.
I like that, though.
All right. Listen, man. Shout out to the podcast. They probably gonna copyright my video. I don't care. But listen, in that video, he said, I'm gonna make them pay. Now, you can say, like, bro, if I say I'm gonna make somebody pay, that could be a plethora. That doesn't actually mean physical money. That doesn't mean literal money. But, however, so I was thinking, low-key, that could mean something else. But with the fire that we keep hearing about, oh, he's gonna want more, oh, he fired his agent, oh, he's gonna want more money, and it keep on floating around, and then he said he's gonna make us pay, and then he said double. So now, like, what is he talking about? How could he make us pay if he's not talking about money? So again, with all these rumors that keep swirling around, I 100% believe him based off that interview and based off the rumors lasting this long. I definitely think he wants more money. So that's why I think he wants more money. Now let's get into the second topic of why I believe it's unfair. Now, you guys know I love Xavien Howard more than anybody. I was campaigning for him to get his contract. I was campaigning for us to re-sign him. I didn't care what the price was going to cost. We had to make him the highest pay. I think he's the best cornerback in the league. I think he's better than Jalen Ramsey. That's my opinion. Y'all know I love him. I want to preface that by saying that right now. But, however, the Miami Dolphins, from a standpoint, cannot allow themselves to get double-dipped. And listen closely, because I'm bad at explaining technical stuff, but I'm going to try to explain it. Listen. Xavien Howard did not bet on himself. He said that in the interview, but he did not bet on himself. Again, you guys remember at the beginning of the video, I said everyone knew that Jalen Ramsey was going to reset the cornerback market. Now, if Xavien Howard would have bet on himself, He could have just played out his last year of his contract, waited till Jalen Ramsey got signed, and then just signed, you know, based off of that contract like he's trying to do now. But Xavien Howard did not bet on himself, like as he's saying in the video. He signed a contract before Jalen Ramsey, which, by the way, everybody knew Jalen Ramsey was going to reset it. You became the highest paid corner. We did our job. That was smart on the Dolphins' end. You didn't bet on yourself all the way. You said, I'm gonna take my money now. Let me give you an example. If Xavien Howard, God forbid, if his knee would have been chronically f***ed up and he would have got injured again this year, the Dolphins would have still had to pay him a lot of money. He would have been a liability, and we would have been literally with the cap. But we took that risk. We gave him all the money. We made him the highest paid. We took that risk. He's obviously not the highest paid anymore because Jalen Ramsey reset the market. But we definitely took a risk when we paid him. Now, but that works out for him. He has some insurance. If his knee didn't hold up, as it did in the season before we paid him, he would have had money. He would have still got paid like a top corner. Congratulations. That is the benefit of that. However, you can't then, your knee does hold up, we have a great season, which we had last year, and then try to say, well, I'm betting on myself now, so now I want more money. We just gave you your money. If you wanted to bet on yourself, you shouldn't have took the bid. You should have took the contract the first time. Because that is cheating the team. That, to me, that is cheating, and I never put a player above the team ever. And with Xavien Howard, if he is trying to do it, would be cheating the team if he decides he doesn't want to show up or he doesn't want to play if he's not getting paid more. Because we paid him a fair contract. If anything, we took a huge risk because his knee was hurt. And he probably accepted the contract because his knee was hurt and he didn't know how his knee was going to hold up. But when your knee holds up and you have the greatest season ever, don't try to come back now and try to double up on us. That's unfair. All right. Now, again, this is all speculation as far as if he'll show up. I do believe he wants more money, but again, there's no problem with that as long as it doesn't stop him from fulfilling his obligations. As long as he's there at mandatory OTAs, mandatory everything, as long as he's at the mandatory stuff, we're good. If he's not showing up, guys, he's doing us dirty. I'll give you one more point, and this is to the contrary of this. There is a guy that actually did bet on himself. That guy was Jarvis Landry. Okay? We should have signed Jarvis Landry a long time ago. We didn't want to pay him. He was a slot receiver or whatever. What did he do? He came out and performed again and ran his price up. And to the point where we had to trade him because we couldn't pay him. Well, we could have, but Adam Gates was a jackass and he didn't want to pay him that much. But he had ran his price up so much by betting on himself. Xavien Howard, he didn't really bet on himself. He got injured. We still paid him a lot of money. Had the best season ever. But now he wants more money. If that's the case, again, no problem want more money. But if we say we can't do it, you have to understand from our perspective, we just paid you in 2019 and you're trying to double dip. And again, if contracts mean anything, then he shouldn't even be able to hold out. We shouldn't be for, like, if contracts mean anything, he should have to show up to mandatory and perform on the contract that he signed. Period. Okay?
Okay, and so before we wrap this up, I just want to make sure that we have all bases touched, because I feel like this could be a little controversial and I'll forget to say some stuff. So I just want to make sure that we have this clear. Xavien Howard's rookie contract ended in 2020. All right, that's what time it was supposed to end. Okay, we ended up re-signing him in 2019. Him betting on himself would have been him saying, I'm not signing this contract in 2019, because Jalen Ramsey signed in 2020. What he could have did if he was actually betting on himself, he could have just, because first of all, listen, the Rams had to pay Jalen Ramsey. They traded for him. They literally could not pay him. He pretty much demanded whatever he wanted. He got $100 million because they literally had to get him that because they traded picks for him, high value picks. They didn't trade those picks for 1 year of Jalen Ramsey. They literally had to re-sign him. Now, in 2020, Darius Slay got paid $16.6 million a year. Byron Jones got paid. The only reason Byron Jones got paid more is because he signed in 2020. Tre'Davious White in 2020 got signed $17.2 million a year. Marlon Humphrey, after Jalen Ramsey, got paid $19.5 million a year. Okay, and Jalen Ramsey got the $20 million a year. So I just want to touch bases on that so you guys can kind of know, like, those are the contracts that were signed in 2020. Xavien Howard's contract ended after 2019. He would have been a part of that class if he didn't sign. If he said, I'm truly betting on myself, he could have been in that class with Darius Slay, Tre'Davious White, and Marlon Humphrey getting re-signed. Instead, he chose a safer route, which I would have chose if I was himself. You know, he chose to sign a contract. You guys remember, he missed like the last 4 games with a meniscus injury right before we re-signed him and made him the highest paid corner. We definitely took a risk right there. And he decided, you know, I'm going to take the safer route. We gave him a contract, $15 million, highest paid at the time. You got to think, in that contract, he has, you know, certain things and terminologies, and it's structured in a way to where if he were to get hurt again, he would still make a pretty good amount of money. So with that being said, it's a lot of money guaranteed. With that being said, he did not bet on himself. And so I will touch the bases with that. If he would have waited till 2020, re-signed, he would first of all, he would be making like $19 million a year or $18 million. He would be making probably what he wanted to make, at least $16 million. Okay, and instead you're making $15 million because you signed a little earlier, and that's okay. Again, this is setting a dangerous precedent, because imagine if every single like player after every season, if they had a good season and like they wanted to get more money. Like, you got to look at people like Aaron Rodgers. Dak Prescott's going to make more than Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is 1,000 times better than him. But it ain't all about the money. It's all it is about when the contract was signed. It's that simple. It's when the contract was signed. There's plenty of players. I'll give you an example. There's edge rushers. I think the best edge rusher in the league is Khalil Mack. Okay? Joey Bosa is making more than Khalil Mack. It's about when the contract was signed. I don't think Joey Bosa is better than Khalil Mack, but when the contract was signed, the salary cap expanded, and that's what happens. All right? Just want to make that clear. Again, Tyreek Hill, one of the best, I think the best wide receiver in the league. Okay? He's making the same amount as Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay is not better than, but Kenny Galladay signed his contract this last offseason, and Tyreek Hill signed his contract right previously. You know what I'm saying? So imagine if Tyreek Hill's like, no, Chiefs, I need 20 minutes. If Kenny Galladay got 18, I need 20 now all of a sudden because I'm better than Kenny Galladay. No, it don't work like that, bro. You signed the contract. All right? That's it.